want to keep making history. If I be able to do in a comfortable way, I prefer to stay.
I told you, don't ever doubt me again. Willpower, strength, and determination, it will take you places.
Amanda, the Lioness Nunes! Juliana, the Venezuelan Vixen Pena!
The rematch of one of the biggest upsets in UFC history is going down at UFC 277 on July 30th. Amanda Nunes versus Julianna Pena 2. Nunes is considered the GOAT of women's MMA by the majority of the community, so she was a minus 1125 favorite to beat Pena in the first fight. Pena shocked the world, so it remains to be seen if she can repeat that same performance. This is definitely a rematch to look forward to, so without further ado, we here at Athlete Central are here to tell you everything you need to know about it in this Ultimate Fight Breakdown. The first fight. Pena came into this fight as a massive underdog, and in the first round, the bookmakers were being proven right. Nunes was having a field day with Pena. The Lioness managed to take the Venezuelan Vixen down and controlled her on the mat for 3.5 minutes of the first round. Despite this control time, Nunes was not able to land anything of significance or attempt any submissions. In hindsight, she was expending energy to try and control Pena, who was consistently working for a better position. There were a lot of wrestling transitions with little to no damage, but the first round undoubtedly went to Amanda. The second round was like a complete 180. Amanda did not engage in the grappling, and it was a purely stand-up fight. However, uncharacteristically of Nunes, it was very sloppy. She only landed 42% of her strikes when Pena landed 64%. Nunes was mostly the one going first, and Pena would dodge and land 2 or 3 strikes in return. Juliana landed more than double the amount of strikes Nunes did and evidently hurt the Lioness multiple times. The most damage was before the fight-ending sequence, when Pena hurt Nunes before securing a slick takedown. The Venezuelan quickly took Amanda's back and sunk in a rear naked choke, which Nunes succumbed to. Recent fights. Pena was only on a 1-fight win streak before getting the title shot because essentially there was no fresh contender for the champion to face. After a 2-year hiatus from the sport following a loss to Valentina Shevchenko, Pena won a unanimous decision against former flyweight champion Nico Montano in 2019. Nico won the first round, but Pena asserted her dominance in the second and third rounds, with one judge even scoring the second round a 10-8 for the Venezuelan. She then faced Germaine de Randamie, another former champion who was essentially a ticket to a title shot. Unfortunately for Pena, de Randamie was on fire that day, outstriking Pena in the first 2 rounds before securing a guillotine choke after Juliana shot for a takedown and getting the submission win in the 3rd round.
That looks very tight!
De Randamie?
Is she gonna get it? I think she's out. I think she might be out.
While many thought Juliana was back to square one, her next victory over Sarah McMahon would secure her the next title shot. Despite losing the 3rd round to Sarah, who was more active on the feet and landed 2 takedowns, Pena managed to win the second. She was active off her back, throwing strikes threatening Sarah, who was then hesitant to engage in her offense. In the 3rd round, Pena managed to get a dominant position on the mat and secure a rear naked choke finish that got her the life-changing fight against Amanda Nunes. Speaking of the Brazilian, she also had a bout with Germaine de Randamie, and it went very differently to Germaine's fight with Juliana. Nunes won 4 of the 5 rounds against de Randamie. She managed to outclass de Randamie on the feet and on the ground, barring the second round where Germaine caused some damage in the stand-up. After this, Nunes solely relied on her grappling for the last 3 rounds to cruise to a decision win. Nunes then faced Felicia Spencer in a fight that was an absolute beating. Nunes managed to take her opponent down in every single round and amassed 8 minutes of control time throughout the main event. She outstruck her opponent 124-42 and caused a massive swelling on her forehead, saying that she enjoyed doing so. After this beating, everyone thought that the Brazilian was unbeatable, especially at featherweight where this fight took place. She fought Megan Anderson in her next defense of the featherweight title, and it lasted merely 2 minutes. Nunes was beating Anderson up on the feet, and after a failed takedown attempt from Megan, Amanda managed to reverse the position and landed a triangle armbar to finish the fight in the first round.
It's a wrap, or she's gonna go to sleep.
There's the tap! Amanda Nunes!
Attributes. Both fighters are in the prime of their careers. Nunes is 34 and Pena is turning 33 soon, so they still have a few years at the top despite rumors of Amanda considering retirement. In terms of measurements, both fighters have a reach of 69 inches, but Nunes is the taller woman. She's 5'8", 2 inches taller than the 5'6" Pena. Striking. Let's jump into the stats and start with the striking, where Nunes is expected to be superior despite their first fight. Amanda lands 4.55 significant strikes per minute, significantly higher than the 3.36 that Pena lands. The accuracy is quite similar though. Nunes has a 2% edge at 51% compared to Pena's 49%. When it comes to their striking defense though, we see that Pena only absorbs 2.02 significant strikes per minute, while Nunes absorbs 2.81. This may be due to the fact that Pena relies on her ground game a lot more than Nunes, who spends most of her fights dominating opponents on the feet, therefore absorbing more damage than the BJJ whiz Pena. The Venezuelan has a tad lower defense percentage though. It is at 53% compared to Amanda's 55%. In terms of knockout power, Nunes is clearly levels ahead. Pena only has 3 KO TKOs to her name, while Nunes is up at 13 KO TKOs from 21 victories. She's one of the most powerful women in MMA history, hands down. Grappling. Let's get into the grappling, where it should really be a toss-up, given that this is Pena's strength and Nunes utilizes her grappling quite often. The stats seem to reflect that when we look at their takedowns and their accuracy. Both are almost identical. Nunes has 2.46 takedowns per 15 minutes and Pena lands 2.43, while their accuracy is 54% and 55% respectively. There really is nothing to separate them when it comes to their offensive wrestling. It's a whole nother situation though when it comes to takedown defense. Nunes defends 82% of the takedowns attempted against her, which is quite a good statistic, but Pena is down at a lowly 22%. Part of this may be because she is so comfortable off her back and on the ground in general, but it still is not an impressive stat. When it comes to submissions, Pena attempted 0.9 per 15 minutes and Nunes is close at 0.8. The Venezuelan vixen had not completed a submission since her 4th pro fight, but has now secured 2 rear naked choke wins in a row, bringing her total up to 5. Nunes has 4 submission wins to her name, 3 rear naked chokes, and 1 reverse triangle in her last victory against Megan Anderson. Prediction. This is a very hard fight to predict, given Amanda's dominance prior to her first encounter with Juliana. Nunes did say that her doctor advised against her taking the fight after health issues arose again in her camp. The Brazilian said she couldn't even spar in her training camp, but decided to go through with the fight anyway because she didn't want it to be canceled. Now, we don't know whether these are just excuses for Nunes losing the belt she had held on to for so long, or an accurate description. Regardless, Pena won the first fight fair and square, and she will undoubtedly have gained confidence from that performance. Amanda is mentally strong and she has bounced back from numerous defeats in her career. In fact, she was 3-3 in her last 6 before embarking on her 11th fight win streak and claiming double champ status. Nunes did very well in the first round of their fight, and Pena did not have any answers for her wrestling offense despite being renowned for her ground game. On the other hand, Nunes didn't land many impactful strikes and wasted a lot of energy on trying to control her. Maybe this time around Amanda can find those openings to hurt Pena and land some ground and pound while on top to wear out her opponent. On the feet, Nunes was very sloppy and Pena was surprisingly accurate, landing a lot more impactful strikes and dodging Amanda's strikes with ease. This time, if Nunes will be 100%, it is hard to imagine that happening again given the pedigree of both fighters. A lot will depend on Amanda's conditioning. If she gets tired after the first round again, we can see Pena repeating the upset and defending the title, much in the same way she did, outstriking Nunes and either scoring a KO or another submission win. If Nunes is fit though, she has not struggled in the later rounds recently and can keep her power to the later rounds despite firing early as well. 3 of her last 5 wins have come in the first round and the other 2 were dominant decisions. It really is a tough fight to call, but despite the outcome of the first fight, Nunes is still a big -290 favorite, with Pena being a +245 underdog. The margin is a lot closer than it was in the first fight though, which is understandable. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Who would you guys put your money on? Drop your fight predictions in the comments below and make sure to like and subscribe to never miss an Athlete Central video. Until next time.